Hey guys, welcome to the Brains Are Root podcast with me, Antarctic Ninja, and the wonderful Loot the Body. This podcast is where we talk about anything and everything mental health, so sit back, relax, and enjoy while we talk about all of our crazy and invite you along for the ride.
I remember, I did date night makeup.
Oh!
Because, we're talking about relationships and mental health.
We are talking,
so
yeah.
I decided not to go too crazy today.
To be fair, what could you do as makeup for?
There's options. I mean, I could have done, like, there's some art pieces that are about couples, and I could have done, like, hearts and cupcakes and just, like, sweetie or love.
But you went nice and subtle today.
Yeah. One of the things that cracks me up is that I've had people who start coming into my stream and they're like, "Oh my god, I've never seen your face." Because I wear so much face paint.
That is true. That is very true.
So
like
I figured I'd just have an early episode where people know this is what my face looks like.
I bet some YouTube comments will be, "Oh, so that's what she looks like."
Right? That's what's been happening, like, consistently in my content lately. Like, oh my god, I didn't know what your face looks like. I'm like, my face is what I work on the whole time.
Yeah, but it's always just there's always just paint going on it.
And face painting built my relationship with myself.
And do you know what? Weirdly, never thought of it that way for this topic. That is actually a nice little, because streaming has helped the relationship with me and understand me better, and I never thought, geez, you're getting deep and heavy really quickly.
Right? Just diving in.
Damn!
Usually we have the safety of the face paint.
That is true.
Without it, we just die.
Oh my god, that's terrifying. That is terrifying.
One of the things, like, I kind of joke about because I'm messed up in the head, but quarantine and COVID and being constantly around my significant other, my marriage did not survive COVID.
That's fair.
And so I had a very unhealthy relationship as far as support for mental health. And he had his own journey and all of that. We just were not compatible as the person the other one needed.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's all been self-discovery and self-care and self-love for my mental health journey since I started prioritizing my health.
But yeah, like, especially with COVID and the lockdowns, it has been very much a relationship with myself and learning all of that over anything else, because it's been hard to sort of be near people and around people when, lockdowns.
Right, absolutely. I mean, besides the toll it takes on our mental health being alone, it kind of forces some reflection and interaction to see, like, okay, what makes you happy? And then you're like, who cares? No, we need to figure this out.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. And I've had a very mixed, like, my relationship with myself has been very mixed due to mental health, and then all other, like, family, friends, romantic, all my relationships have been made slightly more tricky due to mental health. Let's put it that way. I have lost friends. I've lost relationships, and it's taken a while, but I finally found myself due to mental health. So I've lost lots of different relationships in lots of different ways due to mental health and sometimes
it's something
poor
very
mental health.
Telling when we start to put up boundaries. Because when we lose people when we say these are my rules, and if you can't follow them, that's a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
And people, especially when we don't take care of ourselves, people think that they can treat us a certain way or be inconsiderate or careless with their choices. And as we start to set boundaries, as we start to say, no, I'm actually not cool with that, people would rather walk away than come to a compromise a lot of the time.
I've had people walk away because I've spoke too much about my mental health. That's happened on a couple of occasions. There have been moments where my mental health has masked itself in a very good way, where I seem fine, I break down, and that's where it all goes to shit. I attribute that to at least one of my previous relationship breakdowns, where it masked itself so good until it just wanted to explode, and that's when it happened.
And that's, I mean, it's something that we talk about quite a bit, but we don't pretend to be hurting. We pretend to be okay. And that's what a lot of people don't understand with mental health, because they're like, oh, you just want attention. No, I'm telling you where I'm at right now because I think it's important that you know. But for the most part, we're going to nod and smile and make do and figure it out. And a lot of us who struggle with mental health don't have the healthiest outlook on ourselves, or at least have had bits of time where we felt insignificant enough that someone else's behavior towards us was something that we were like, oh, I deserved that.
Definitely.
No, you didn't.
Definitely. Like, mental health, like, in a relationship, it does add an extra layer of difficulty to it. Like, it's hard enough when you have good mental health. Then throw on top things that you are fighting against and trying to control at all times. It is so damn tricky.
And that's the thing, like, we start to get really good at handling our mental health, and people start forgetting we struggle with it. Like, no, I'm just fighting this bitch every day, and I'm getting a little bit better at it. In my own relationship, sometimes it comes out and he's like, I don't understand why you're being so mean. And I'm like, I don't understand why I'm feeling what I'm feeling until I can figure that out. I'm just in lockdown mode. I can't. This is not, I'm mad at you. This is, why am I having a response? What? But I just have this bitchy face on while I'm trying to figure it all out. And I get that. Like, I know that coming into the room, I got a certain energy and a certain look that's like, fuck off. That's not what I mean. I just mean, I don't understand what's happening. I'm freaking out. Give me a second to figure it out.
Yeah.
But that's not what people see.
Yeah.
They see.
Yeah. I've had that. I've walked in after work, come home, and they're like, and they'll just know by how I'm walking. They'll be like, okay. And I'm just, you know, there's something going on in my head. And I'm like, just give me a minute. I just need to figure it out. I'm not being rude. I swear I'm not being... I've had that multiple times of, he's rude because he doesn't answer, or, you know. And it's normally, I'm just too thinking.
Properly. I'm making sure I pick the right words. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with me. And until I can figure out me, I can't communicate with you. It's not your fault.
Yeah. So much. And they're like... And, you know, through coping mechanisms and trying to figure things out, I just don't hear a lot of things. So when I come across as rude because I'm not listening, it's because I'm just so stuck in my own head.
That inner voice can be so loud. I've had kids come up to me and be like, Mom, Mom. And my boyfriend's like, dude, what do you need? What do you need mom for? Hey, babe. You're saying mom. And I'm like, what? Ew. Because and this is one of the things, when I drive, I know you talked about autopiloting it.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I'm aware of where I'm going and how I'm getting there, but I won't notice that the car radio's not on. I won't notice I'm sitting in silence because my inner monologue is so loud, I just assume I'm hearing it outside of myself.
Yep. I've done that a few times. I've done that. Like, sometimes, like people think it's, like, I've, with friends and stuff, I'm just there. I just kind of zone out a bit. And, you know, and they're like, you're right. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm good. I'm just thinking. and it just has, you have to snap back in. And it is, I've done that so many, with friends, family, work colleagues. My inner monologue gets so loud at work, I've had to put up a sign saying, don't worry, I do talk to myself on a regular basis.
Right? We're content creators. Half of what we do is talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
You have to be comfortable with that if you're going to go anywhere in content creation. Because there are times when there's not fucking anybody else on the other side of the screen. So you just got to be comfortable talking to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm very good at it.
God, same. At this point, same. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I just talk to myself constantly. And people find it weird, but I'm like, it's just me. It's all good.
Right? This is how I process.
Yeah.
Good.
So this is a question. Kind of relates to my last week's blog that I posted. Regarding mental health in relationships. At what point do you tell someone that you are... technically, two questions. One, when you're friends with someone, do you tell them that you have mental health, or like specifically, or do you just let them find out naturally? Because I'm quite open with it. I tell them pretty much early on. Because I'm like, yes, this is how I am. I'm sorry if I'm a dick. These are the possible reasons. Deal with it. Right.
I open with, you know, I struggle with bipolar disorder, and this is what I know about myself, and this is what I don't, and I have to... A lot of the times it's because I can't make social functions. And it's not because I'm antisocial. I actually like being social. But I take meds at 9 o'clock, and I'm out cold in 45 minutes. Like, I can't go out and go to do a thing, and then, like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because I don't drink, and it's not a high and mighty thing. It's a booze mixes poorly with my meds thing.
Yay!
And so it's not like I could go out and drink, and it's not like I can... I mean, I seem drunk if I fight my meds and stay awake.
Oh, fuck that.
I'm stumbling around like I'm drunk.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. It makes your muscles itchy.
Ooh.
And I don't like that feeling. Like, inside...
No.
So, it does have it plays a part on my social life because, well, I mean, whatever social life I have with 10 kids, but it does, like, I don't go to streaming events that are late at night because I can't. I mean, I'm in my house and I still can't participate. And it just, so I'm very open and upfront, like, okay, well, I deal with bipolar disorder. I'm an overachiever, so I have an extra dollop of depression and anxiety, and I medicate because that's what works for me. But I am super open about it because that's how I introduce myself in any content creating
very true.
Settings.
Fair. I think the first conversation we ever had was, "Hi, I'm Loot. These are my issues."
I'm a quirky bipolar homeschool mom of 7 at the time.
Yeah, it was. Damn. At what point did you become... Because I know I've definitely had sort of the same thing where I'm very open. I tell them everyone I've met in the last 2 years, pretty much, because I'm coming up for 2 years with counselling soon. I've been very open. I'm like, this is me. I have anxiety, depression, touch of OCD, so nice triple threat. This is how I am. But I remember, like, before then, I'd say it to some people, but early on I would never say it. Did you ever have that point where you, like, tried to hide it and never mention it at all?
Well, when I started streaming gaming content with my younger brother. We didn't talk about anything real. We only talked about goofy shit because that's what him and I do when we hang out.
Yeah.
I took a break from streaming. I found some communities I really liked, but when I came back, it was very open. It was after I was admitted to the psych ward. It was after my dad died, and a lot of people in my streaming community knew about those things. And so I never even thought to hide it. Never occurred to me. But bipolar disorder is genetic. I've seen it my whole life. I knew that there was a possibility that was coming at some point in my life. And it really manifests late 20s, early 30s. And it did. It sure did. It did a lot of damage in my late 20s.
Perfect time. Straight at you.
And I didn't get help until I was 30. And then my content evolved because I talked about mental health. So
that is true. You are literally mental health and makeup.
Right. And I never even considered trying to hide it. The only thing I hide is my legal name and the names of my kids. Like,
understandable and understandable.
Right, because that's my line. That's my limit. Because we can have 15 viewers, but you got no idea who those 15 viewers are.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, even I really, like, quote unquote hide. I just don't disclose it, I guess.
I've known you for a good year.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. I still just know you as Loot.
Yep.
Yeah. And wow.
I'm very good about not revealing that because it's, like, significant. And I do think I have, like, a smidge of OCD because, like, thinking about people finding out my legal name gives me a panic attack almost.
Damn.
So, like, and there are some times that, like, my least favorite sentence in my life is, just because it's not done your way doesn't mean it's wrong.
Oh.
If you wash the dishes and the dishes are still dirty, you've done it wrong.
Nice analogy, because that one I also have. I suffer that so much.
I would rather do the job myself and know it's done than to ask somebody else to do it.
Like, most of the time they're clean. It's just the odd one or two, and it's just like, okay, did you not see the splodge there?
So, embarrassing fun fact about Loot.
Okay, here we go.
When I grab a cup out of the cabinet that is allegedly clean, I smell it before I use it.
Fair.
Because I don't want to surprise I'm taking a drink of water and I smell dirty sponge. Yeah, I cannot.
Well, once you've cleaned it, you clean it, and then you give it a quick rinse before you dry it. Does wonders.
We wash it all by hand, so
just give it a
I'm pretty
quick rinse.
Particular about it.
You're grand.
One of the things that drives me mad, I threw the bobby pin I was fidgeting with. One of the things that drives me mad is using a bad sponge to clean dishes. You're not fucking cleaning them then. I go through an obscene number. The ones I like are called Dobie pads. And so, like, they're the perfect mixture between a soft sponge and a scratchy sponge. But if it sits in like disgusting water, because I have 10 kids and they're not all very thoughtful. I guess thoughtful is not the right word. They're all careless about what they're doing if they don't want to do it. And so, yeah, it'll drive me mad. If you take that nasty sponge and then go wash the dining room table with it, I will lose my mind. Because now, the whole table that we're supposed to eat at smells disgusting. And I can't take it. Can't take it. Yeah, no, there are some things. Recently, we call it the pile.
Oh, God.
Because in one of our rooms, there's like totes and arts and crafts bins and Christmas shit that has to all get like put away. But it's this whole thing. We need to go through the shed so we can move stuff out there, but we haven't done that. Now it's snowing. So like, but if somebody's like, hey, do you want to work on this? My brain's like, cool. We're going to talk about organizing. We're going to go through everything. We're going to make a plan. And I get in there and my boyfriend's like, so what I'm thinking is we make it more boxy and less pile-y for today. And I'm like, I guess.
Oh,
I guess.
Like,
and then he's like, why are you mad? Is it because it's my idea? I'm like, no, it's because my brain went, we're going to do all the things that are hard and we're going to touch on them and we're going to try to make a plan. And your brain went, make it look nicer.
I can say that is a thing that there is a lot. I've done that a lot in friendships and relationships and with family members. And it annoys people, like, because they've thought of a plan, which is great, and you're just trying to process it with how your mind went.
Right.
They just automatically assume that you're pissed off, and it's like, I'm not.
Exactly.
I swear, I'm not pissed off.
Like,
it's just,
why are you being so mean? Because you don't like my idea. I'm like, I'm not. I'm trying to process, and you're not giving me time to process.
And that is like the biggest thing. And it's just like, could you just give me a minute? That's a lot of like stuff with like mental health and relationships, is just allowing us the time to process shit, because we're not good at that.
Well, we're not going to do it in a neurotypical way.
Oh, God, no.
I cannot make a decision. If I have to make a decision, I will choose nothing. If I have to make a quick decision,
I still, to this day, have to get people's opinions and basically get people to back up my thinking and belief before I buy anything at this point.
Okay, so one thing in my relationship that is so rough is that he comes from a family where someone will produce an idea and everyone has the opportunity to talk about why that idea won't work and give the original person the time to convince them. If I tell you I have an idea and you tell me it's not gonna work, fucking fine. I guess we just won't do it then. Like that.
Yeah.
That's my go-to response. Is what? You know what? I just might not have been. It probably was just a bad idea.
I wish yeah. I'm used to the whole. Just no. No explanation. Oh, that's incredible.
See, and he'll be like. I'll be like, oh, hey, this sounds cool. And he's like, I don't know that we have the time for that. Okay. Well, never mind. He's like, tell me why you think we have the time. Like, tell me where you think we can do this and why you think we can do this. And he's like, I'm not just, I gave an idea. It didn't mean it was the end all be all. And I'm like, my entire life and every relationship I've had has been, I'm not only shutting down your idea, but now I think you're stupid. So no, I don't want to sit there and tell you why I'm not stupid and why it was a good idea. I just want to not be talking about it anymore.
Yeah, it's like, let's just move
and
on.
I'm very, I very uncomfortably switch topics. And I never noticed this about myself until we started dating. And he's like, you realize if you don't like something, you just start talking about something else. Like, no, I did not know that.
That is incredible. Like, I don't think I do that. I'm just awkward when it's something I don't want to talk about. I just get awkward. Which then makes them want to change topic because they feel awkward.
Oh, hey, I mean, that's a good defense mechanism, though.
But
that's a good one.
But I feel like when starting friendships and relationships, especially relationships, I've tried 3 main methods. Trying to hide the mental health, that doesn't work. That definitely doesn't work. I have failed big time. Then there's the get to know them, then tell them. 50-50. Some are okay with it, some are like, and they back off. I'm like, okay. But this is my favourite one, which I do every time, no doubt, no matter what, is pretty much as soon as we start talking it, when they go, so, tell me about yourself. Literally, in the middle of that, there is, I have mental health. Here are the 3 things I have. Enjoy. Take it as you will.
Right?
And you can decide. I like to put it in there early. Just so I don't waste my time. Don't waste their time. And just, if they don't want to be around me because I've got bad mental health every now and again, I don't want to be around them.
Right, well, and that's one of the things that is really hard in relationships when we have mental health journeys that we're on and that we're avidly on and we talk about, is that when we have like I was saying earlier, when we have a pretty good grip, when we're pretending normal really good, right? And then something typical for us happens, they're like, well, where is this coming from? I'm like, all of the things I told you before. That's where this generated, was my insecurity. My anxiety is being 90% certain I'm wrong about everything. And so then I need that, like, that reminder that, oh, hey, this is a good idea. And one of the things that, like, or again, two of the things that this makes me think of is, one, my boyfriend was talking about something that his sister taught him. Mm-hmm. And it was that you need to teach people how you want to be treated. You need to tell them what is and isn't okay. You need to teach them how to treat you because they don't know to start. So you've got to tell them. And then when there's things with wording that really get to me, I will talk about those. So, like, he used to be like, that is not a bad idea. I was like, I know what you mean. You mean it's a good idea. Oh, well, the way you're saying it, I expected your idea to be bad, and I'm surprised that it's not. He's like, I would never say that. I'm like, I know, but it still hits like that.
That is one thing I think is wording with people with mental health, and knowing how they. It's just, again, it's about people with mental health saying, this is how I am. These are the things that sort of, it's talking about the triggers and talking about things that make it difficult, like, how they're worded and things. Like, it can happen. I've had it, like, they say it in a nice way, but especially over messages, that is the worst one.
Oh my god, messages are the worst.
I just assume, like, any time I give bad news, I just assume they're angry with me. They're not, but I just assume.
Because brains are rude, and we have that constant inner voice going, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And when we have something that, like, validates it, it's like, told you, you're wrong.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't even matter if the things aren't related, it will just tell you. It'll be, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Something completely different happens where you were slightly not correct sometimes. It'll be like, told you, and everything's then wrong. You've done it all wrong.
Right. And And then we fall into our coping mechanisms.
Yes!
Segue to episode 2.
Go watch episode 2, bitches. Totally should.
No, but really, like, we have that constant fear and that constant dread that us being wrong is going to, like, severely impact our situation.
Oh, yeah. Like, I've been anxiety in relationships is ridiculously high for me. Like there's relationship anxiety, I feel. Like, that's sort of the normal level. And then there's when you've got, like, anxiety just in general. And anything little that isn't good, like, even if it's just neutral, will flip me. And
oh my god, the neutral triggers.
And I like, yeah, because it, you know, if it's that how do I take this sort of thing. My mind tends to go, oh, it's not good. Just instantly, if it's not good, it's bad.
Right.
And it's like, oh my god.
Yes.
And I can genuinely say this, that I genuinely think a neutral trigger, neutral to slightly bad trigger, literally set me down a spiral, which then led me on to the last 2 years of my life, but also ruined my last relationship. I believe that. I don't know if it's true, but I believe that and stand by it.
Spiraling when you're in a relationship. Oh my god. So one of the things that drew my boyfriend and I together was that we very openly talk about our mental health situations. He is more neurotypical than I am. And sometimes, like, if we get into an argument or if we get into, like, just a disagreement, really, like, I need space and time so that I don't spiral.
Yeah.
And he needs to not have space and time or he will spiral.
Ooh.
And so it has gotten us into arguments just based on feeling like the other person isn't hearing or seeing us. Because what we need in that situation is just not compatible.
Yeah.
And we're, like, really good for each other in a lot of ways, but every once in a while we hit that, like, okay, but what you said hurt, and the other person's like, but it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But it did. And actually, I wrote a piece about it recently, about apologizing, because growing up, apologies were control weapons.
Yeah.
They were not, I'm apologizing because I hurt you and I see that and I'm sorry. It was, well, I'm sorry your feelings got hurt. Thanks, bitch. I don't really need that, though.
Yeah.
So, he's like, you have a hard time apologizing. I'm like, yeah, because if I apologize, then I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm worthless, and I don't want to do that. And he's like, that's not how those work.
Yeah.
He's like, the apology isn't anything more than you acknowledging that you hurt my feelings. I just need to know you know it so that we can move forward. Like, this is foreign to me. And now I'm going to change the subject because I'm uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. It all seems to come down to communication. And it's something humans are clearly not good at. Even when they're neurotypical, they're not good at it. And it makes it a lot harder to communicate when you can't communicate with yourself.
Right? Oh my god. And it's so hard to explain to other people because they're just like, why aren't you talking to me? I can't even get out of my own head right now. I'm stuck. I am Alice through the fucking looking glass right now. You don't want to talk to me when I'm in this state. I promise you, because I'm not going to seem like me.
Yeah, like, people will, people message me and they're like, oh, you've been quiet recently. It's just because I'm quiet, not just with you. It's everyone. It's like, I can't help it. It just happens.
Quiet is safe. Sometimes. Not always, but but it feels safer than most other. But it also, I guess, it depends on your background. Like my family relationships, volume was a way to take control of the conversation.
Yeah.
But, and I love my parents. I know they did the best they could with how they knew how to do it.
Yeah.
But arguments in my house growing up were never about finding a solution, and were always about winning.
Ooh.
And the best way to win, say the funniest, meanest, smartest remark and do the most damage. And if you do the most damage, you win.
Ouch.
And I had to train my brain not to do that, which was not easy, because that's how, it's just how it was when I was growing up. And honestly, to this day, it happens from time to time when we get into a heated conversation, which is why I try really hard not to do that with my origin family. But because that's how I grew up, like, I have to filter out all the mean shit I want to say, because that's not going to help anything. I'm not going to win, because that's not the point of the argument. The point is to find a solution together. And trying to kind of heal that part of me out.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen immediately. Sometimes I come up with some really funny shit that I really need to not say. And so, like, I just go quiet, because quiet is safer.
Yeah.
But I'm also triggered by volume. Like, my ex, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm also attracted to men who are taller than me. It's just how I've always been.
That's fair.
And my ex was taller and broader than me. And so if he would get angry, he would get loud and close and, like, tower over me to win the argument. So, even though my boyfriend does not do anything like that, if his volume starts to go up a little bit, I'm like, okay, whatever, you win. And he's like,
yeah.
We're in the middle of a conference. What do you mean I win?
just triggered straight away, just like, that's it.
Right?
It triggers you and you're like, that's it, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I do that. Like, there are things, like, it's all just about volume. If I hear people get loud, I'm out. I don't like arguments. I prefer the peaceful options. As soon as it gets loud, I'm out. And that is...
It's our fight or flight, man. Like, we're in flight mode for that, because we've been in situations where volume equals danger. So, peace.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Just like, bah. Like, and that is like one thing I think people do struggle to understand. You know, friendships, relationships, even family members that know what we're like can struggle with that. And they're like, yeah, we got loud, it's fine. But it's like,
my sister
triggers me, and I'm out of there.
My sister could not comprehend my depression. She's 15 months younger than me. She's always been like a suck it up and figure it out, you're fine kind of a human. And she's talking to me one day, and she's just so goddamn loud. And I'm like, dude, could you please be quieter? And she's like, I'm just a loud person. I'm like, I'm a depressed person. And she was like, okay, I accept that.
So, yeah, well, shit. That's, weirdly, you saying that, being a depressed person, like, I've made that comment. I've made those jokes. And they are fucking funny sometimes.
They're so funny. Oh,
like,
my God.
You get it in the right moment, and that is it. It just finishes them.
Right. And if you get it in the wrong moment, you're like, I don't know if we could be friends.
Yeah, it's like, oh, dear. Sorry. Like, I am surprised.
Because this is the line I'm going to cross.
Yeah. That line always But like, when you do mention mental health, you know, especially with new people, actually, even with, like, family members, when certain family members found out I was depressed, anxious, had a bit of OCD, they treated me different. And it is just weird to sort of get them to not see me, but with those labels on, or like it needed a bit of padding around.
Yeah.
And then with new people, it's you say that, and then they don't see you. You are now your mental illness, not you.
And it's that, like,
when
that
it is the absolute opposite.
Well, the trick is we do need to be treated differently, but we don't.
Yeah, it's like treat me differently like this, not like this. And it is so, like, normally I just tell them, act like you, act like we always, like, if it was a family member, I was just like, just keep acting like us. If anything happens, I'll let you know.
Right.
You know, if it's a new person, I just say, act like you, I act like me, and we'll figure this out. If not, well, hey ho.
Right?
You know,
like...
but yeah, it's the way people treat you slightly differently. And it's not it's not in obvious ways. It's tiny things.
I'm sure it's that, like, them being overly cautious to not say things or do things that could be construed as inconsiderate, and we're just like, no, but if I start to freak out, just give me some space, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need you to have kid gloves on all the time, but I do need you to know that when I'm like, I need a minute, I mean it.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, you, again, all about communication. You tell them this, and they will try. But they will be cautious while trying. So it's like,
well,
you're so close. You're doing it well. Just a little bit further.
But you also have those other friends. The ones who are like, I'm not going to treat you any different at all. And then you'll say some crazy dark shit, and they're like... I was in the car with one of my friends from high school, right? And I feel like the people that we know, like, when we're younger, it's a lot easier to just kind of, like, roll with whatever. So we're in the car, and he's, like, pretending to drive badly. And he's like, you didn't even flinch. I'm like, I'm a depressed person. I've made peace with possibly dying in a car accident. And he was like, what is wrong with you? Like, that's funny.
I've made, like, so this is where my mental health is, like, talking about it, and this is where I've lost friends, because I've spoke about it too much and made those sort of jokes, and people have gone, you know, whereas my two of my best friends now, who I see as much as I possibly can, I say that shit, they then top it.
Right.
And
right.
To be fair, admittedly, these are two people that I went to school with, and for 2 years, between sort of my depression sort of showing and finally getting diagnosed, because I got diagnosed at 18 because it was easier, because I could get tablets and better counselling than as a teenager. These guys put up with me literally suicidal in the middle of school, and they just took it in their stride. And now
right, and that's...
they've never treated me any different. They've never given a shit. And they are some of the people that when people make jokes about mental health, for me, most of the time, if you haven't got it, you don't say shit. You know, you be a bit respectful. Those guys, they get a bit of a pass just due to the fact they had to deal with me.
Well, and honestly, like, it is kind of hard to find that balance, to find that, like, where is it okay to joke about. But I've got friends from high school. One of them, like, it's super funny because we don't get to see each other that often, but when I get to see him and hang out, people are like, twins? Because we think, like, we will start out of the blue singing the same song at the same time. Or like, we always try to beat each other to the same joke because we both, like, immediately think of it. And so, whenever he says something really dark and fucked up, and I'm just over there laughing my ass off, and everybody else is like, isn't that not okay to say? I'm like, no, it was fucking hilarious, is what it was.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's always the best when, you know, someone, like, you or your friend says something, you two are howling because it is funny, and everyone else is stepping on eggshells because it's not. You shouldn't say it because, you know, it's about mental health or it's something, and it's just like, no, shit, that's shit fucking funny.
That was hilarious, right? And it's funny because those of us who do struggle with it, a lot of us coped with humor. Like, that's how we got through it.
That's why I genuinely think, look at how many comedians or comedy actors or writers, basically anyone that can really make you laugh, they've had struggles. Most of them have had struggles in some way or another. And joking about shit works. That's why they say laughter and comedy is the best medicine. Because they're not fucking wrong.
Right? It makes your brain do happy brain things that your brain doesn't normally want to do.
Yeah. Like, you'll be in the worst mood, and then you will giggle, and you'll be like, shit, what the fuck is that? And you're giggling your tits off for no reason at some point.
Oh my god. Those times, though. When, like, something... For me, it's when something catches me off guard, and it's, like, funny enough... it's smart enough that someone had to put some effort into it, but also smart enough that some people aren't gonna get it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like, when I get like that, I can't talk. I can't breathe. I am just like, I can't calm down. I probably laugh like that for like 10 minutes because I just cannot come to, because every time I try to, or try to explain it to somebody.
Oh, you just burst. You're just gone.
One of my favorite memories of losing my shit like that, when I started content creating, my younger brother and I played Kingdom Hearts. And there's this one monster who I shit you not, looks like a uterus. Looks like 2 ovaries, the fallopian tubes, and a uterus. And I'm like, holy shit, that looks like a uterus. And my brother walks up to it, and it was called a parasite cage.
Well, it's not wrong. It's not wrong.
Right, I cried. I was laughing so hard. I couldn't. There's no fucking way that that's accurate. There's no way they did that. Oh my god! And I was just like, I couldn't.
That's
could
incredible.
not.
I fucking love that.
It was so good.
Again, it's like you find those people, and then it's those people that make you giggle, make you laugh, who don't. If you can find people that forget that you have mental illness and make you forget you have a mental illness, they are the best shit around, because they're the ones that have never looked at you differently, never treated you differently, and just gone, this shit's going to make you laugh. And they've gone for it.
Well, and that's one of the things that, like, I really admire about my one of my sons, is he has autism. Day 1 in school. Hi, this is my name, and I have autism. And so everybody kind of expected something, but not like after that, there was no issues, because anytime he had any sort of issue, they were like, okay, how can we help? What do you need?
It's like everyone knew.
Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
It was just, okay. And when we did a parent-teacher conference, the teacher was like, I think if you ask any kid in this classroom, they'll tell you that they're your son's friend.
Nice.
Because he is 10 and a half and he's never lied to me. He doesn't know how to, really.
That's impressive.
it is frustrating as shit. Because that means if he's telling me something and it doesn't line up with what I know, I have to figure out what fucking question I asked wrong.
But that is, like, he has got the, like, it took me 23 to be open. And any time I met someone, I'd be like, this would be my mental illness. That kid has done it quicker than it took me 23 years. That kid's smarter than me for doing that. It's like, damn.
It's something that we almost didn't talk to him about it. We almost didn't, because we didn't want him to have, like, an experience of, like, being treated differently. But at the same time, if he were put to neurotypical standards, there are some things that he doesn't think on the same plane that we do.
Yeah.
And there are times when he is abso-fucking-lutely right. But it was an A, B, C, D question.
Yeah.
He didn't choose the one you're supposed to choose. He had a great reason, and it was legit. And he should get the point. But you got 25 papers to grade.
Yeah.
This kid answered it wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, that's the issue with just education.
Oh yeah, that's a topic for another day.
That really, like, education and mental health, working and mental health. There's 2 episodes for you on their own.
Boom.
Like, because Christ, do they bring some fucking challenges?
Yeah. And
it is and just like, it took me 22, 23, because it was 23 years to sort of constantly say, this is me, I have this, like, pretty much straight out of the gate. You know, within, like, definitely within the first week, you know, if you're getting to know someone in any way, this is why I did it. In my current job, when I interviewed for the job, they went, have you got anything, you know, you want to add or anything? I was like, yep, these are my mental illnesses. This is how I am. Your choice. It's on your side of the court. Your play. Go on. And just left them, because it was easier than trying to hide it.
Right. Which
I have done with jobs, is try and hide it, and then it backfire, and then to be fair, I hid it. I didn't like the job. Well, I didn't like no, it's not the job that I didn't like, it was the people I didn't like. Which caused friction, caused worse mental health issues. I hid it. 4 months later, into a new job, I left that job. Mental health. And it came down to communication and how people saw it. They weren't... I hid it because of how they were very open about thinking it was a bit bullshit.
Right. Oh, God. Yeah.
So I hid it. And then I hid it even more. And then I hid it, and it made me hide it for a while. Worst mistake of my life, honestly.
When people don't consider mental health to be actually like a concern or something we actually struggle with, they can be very cold and dismissive and not realize how much damage they're doing. And that can play through in any of our relationships, whether it's siblings or parents or kids or friends or partners or work, just like anyone.
The odd comments where it's like, oh, I'm like, it's so depressing, or I'm so OCD, or stuff like that. Little things. Most of the time, I understand they are harmless. But then I think about, what if I'm in a bad frame of mind and I hear that?
Right.
Then it just pisses me off. You know? It does. Yeah.
There are, for me, I think I have like clashing issues, which I think all of us do, some that overlap. And my depression will outweigh my OCD. So, if I'll get manic when I start to clean. And I think that is because I want it done a certain way, I want it done in a certain time frame, and I want it done the way I want it done.
Yeah.
And that part will, like, completely take over. And I'll be like that for, like, 8 hours.
Ooh,
and I can't come down, and the people around me don't want to help because I am being vocal and I am being insistent because I want to get the job done, and I want it done the way I want to walk away from it and be like, I am happy with how it's done.
Yeah.
And in order to avoid becoming this cleaning beast, I'll shut down. If the option is get manic and get into fights with people in the house and just, like, get what I want, but not what I want because of how people are going to behave.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work and a lot of me feeling shitty about myself because I have certain standards that I want met. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't expect my 3-year-old to clean the bathroom to my standards. I mean, I'm very realistic. However, there are certain things that I'm like, you guys, if I ask you to sweep the floor, move the little set of drawers so you can sweep under it. Like,
yeah,
that's not.
And it's all just about sort of. All comes down to communication, doesn't it? Like you ask them to do something, and it's just being clear and making sure that the others have understanding of what's expected. Because really, while we talk about this, it makes I am learning. While making these podcasts, I learn about myself. I think about things that are, that I look back on interactions I've had with people and think slightly different on them. Even though, like, these people, I know they've got mental health issues, but I never sort of put it to that. See, even if you have a mental health issue, you can still be slightly ignorant to others with mental health issues. And it is, it is absolutely insane. Like, people with depression will be unknowingly, they don't want to be, they don't mean to be, but they will be ignorant about other things. OCD or any eating disorder or anything like that. And it's all about learning and communication.
Well, and we have so many bullshit bullet points, like, for what to expect for an eating disorder or for depression for, like, well, you can't have an eating disorder if you're bigger. No, body dysmorphia is body dysmorphia. The
bullet points for the, like, if you don't meet these bullet points, you are not them.
Right, you're making it up. You're making it up.
It's like,
you're fabricating. You just want attention.
Yeah, like, it is ridiculous. And even when you do get a diagnosis, some people still won't believe it, and it is bullshit. And they are the people that I specifically avoid.
Right?
Because I'm like, I'm not dealing with that shit.
If someone can't acknowledge and be courteous of somebody else's struggle, fuck them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, doing this podcast makes me realise how I've interacted with others, like family, friends, and how I've sort of not realised their mental health, like, even though I knew they had mental health issues at the time, not realising sort of how it was affecting them due to my own being there and being very present as well.
Well, one of the things I've experienced is, like, the trickiest part is that my disorder is genetic.
That's
and the gene pool it comes from does not want to take care of theirs.
Nice.
And that's their prerogative, but it does, like, it'll come up in fights, like,
yeah,
we're only fighting because one of us is taking care of their mental health and one of us isn't. And I know that's not the nicest thing to say, alright? Bitchy manic me does not much care whether or not it's nice. But honestly, like, it is hard, especially from your core family, from your origin family, like, trying to... Something that Timmy, my co-host for Completely Mental, something that he said was, it is not your job to advocate for family. And I was like, what? I don't have to be in charge of that? I don't have to be like, hey, it would be better for you. I don't care how you do it. I don't care what your journey looks like. I'll be there. I'll be supportive, but take a journey. He's like, no, that's not your job.
the only people you have a job over is your children until they fuck off. Mm-hmm. You know, until they're capable of living on their own. After that, you can say, take your journey. I'll be there to support you, but bye.
That's why I always say, like, no one can take the steps for anybody else in their mental health journey. You have to walk by yourself, though. Like, we're all taking our own steps, and we all have a destination in mind, but nobody has to do it by themselves.
Yeah.
And with the pandemic and everything, like, our relationships all really got a hard spotlight.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have people in my life that I used to see 3-4 times a week. My house used to be the destination house. We would host D&D. We would have play dates with the kids. We would do all of the barbecues and everything. Like, we were the house to go to. And we've not had that in 2.5 years. My boyfriend's like, we don't really have people over. And I'm like, it's so weird, and it's not going to be like this when everything gets, like, back to normal.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, we're going to have a lot of people over all the time? And I'm like, probably.
Yeah, I'm one of the people where I go to those houses. I am not the person that hosts it. I am very much a, I'll see you there type of thing of not, you're not coming to my shit. No, fuck off.
It's usually easier for us because of all the kids.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, I'm more of the person that's just like, yeah, nah. That's if I turn up to any events in the first place.
Oh, that's fair.
And that can...
I have friends who are extreme introverts. And so they'll be like, okay, when does it start and when does it end? I'll be there 10 minutes before it ends.
Yeah.
And then they'll hang out for an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't want to be there while everybody else is there.
And that's the thing with mental health. Like, just planning things, especially in advance, really pisses some people off because they can't wrap their heads around how, yes, I'm feeling great now. Let's see what I'm like in 3 or 4 days.
Right?
Sometimes not even that. Let's see how I am in 3 and 4 hours.
My personality the whole time. My personality may shift between now and then.
Yeah, it's like, right now, I'm pretty good. I could do whatever we are planning. Once it's finalised, let's see how it goes, I suppose.
Right?
And and then, like, if you cancel people, some people understand and they get it. Some really don't.
So that is actually like a big issue with my boyfriend and I. I mean, it's not like doomsday issue, but like, I'll be like, okay, let's do this now. Whatever it is, let's go. And he's like, you want me to stop what I'm doing?
Yes.
When I have a plan, and
yes.
when I had an idea of what my day was going to look like, and you want me to shift it, yes. But I don't want to. Okay, then I'm doing it without you. But that's not very nice. No. I have energy now. I'm harnessing, and I'm using it. And he's like, I don't like that. I'm sorry. But it does come like an issue because he doesn't like to have things like suddenly shifted when he has a game plan of his day. And I'm like, if I don't do it today, I don't know that I'll do it for a month.
weirdly,
I can't guarantee.
I've been on both sides of that. I have been the person that's like, right, let's do this. Come on, let's do this. Just go for it. I've done that a lot. Because, as you say, when will I have the energy to do it again?
Yes.
But then I've also been on the other side, like with other people that have mental health issues, and they're like, let's do this thing now. If we don't do it now, we don't know when it's going to get done. It needs getting done. But my day was planned. My day was planned. Well, it's not now. It has got a new plan. And it's like...
That's the worst part is... For us, if we have something we want to do, like, here's the main goal, and how we tackle it is going to determine on how we're doing while we're in it. Where people who are neurotypical typically are like, okay, what's the plan? And if I'm like, we're working on the pile, what's the plan? Well, we're going to go over there, make a plan. No! What's the plan? I'm like, I can't tell you the plan yet. I'm not in it. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe we're doing this without a plan. The plan is to just do it.
It's like, yeah, people like I like a good plan. I'm not gonna lie. I like first thing I do is if I'm in that mood of I need to do this now, it's let's do this. Make a quick plan. And then that plan will go out the window eventually, and I'll end up doing about 3 different things all at once. And I've been, again, on the other side where they're like, right, we're doing this. So where are we starting? Oh, kind of here. And then again, they just go, yeah, we'll start here. And then that changes. And mental health is a weird thing when it makes you want to do things.
Right? Right? Because it's not even like I think it might be a nice idea. It's like, let's go. Harness that energy. Get it done. I believe in you.
I am not kidding.
You don't usually believe in me.
I am not kidding. This is how bad it is sometimes. Like, because of how I am as a person, and people find it fucking weird. I can get a little bit addicted to things, and when I've got an idea in my head, it kind of sticks. Mm-hmm. My mum was like, she genuinely turned around and went, I'll buy you a new curtain pole. Because you need new curtains. I was like, I don't need new curtains. And then I was buying a new curtain pole, because everything in my room, as you can see, there we go, behind me, it's all wood. You know, it's all like oak and pine and stuff like that. Curtain pole is not, so I went and got one. 2 days after I decided I was going to get one, as soon as I had a chance, I went and got one. And my mum's like, well, I'll just buy you one. I was like, I've got one though. And it's free. And she just couldn't. She was like, you're a dick. I was like, well, I had the energy. I'm going to do it.
Right? And it's hard. It's hard to try to have people understand that urgency, that drive to get it done when we want to get it done. And in a relationship, whether that's, whatever kind of relationship that is, it can be very frustrating to the other party, because they're like, I had the energy to do this and you didn't want to the other day. Right, but now I do. So we have to do it when you want to and not when I want to. Oh, we could have done it when you want to, but I probably would have been bitchy. It's not a threat. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
What happens with
either way, if they do it when you're in a place where you can do it, they tend to bitch. Because, they have other plans, or they have, things they need to get done. But then if we do it when they want it done, we're in a bad place, we're gonna bitch. Either way, it's a shit show. It's just a shit show.
We keep finding ourselves in that funk because like we have responsibilities to the house and the kids, and so like when one of us is really running the house, the other one's like, oh, I have some energy to do something, and then the other one's like, no. And then it's flipped, and so it makes it hard, because like you want to, whether it's the kids or your parents or whatever, like there's a project you want to do together that it just doesn't get done. And for us, it's a project that, like, a lot of other projects are hinging on.
Yeah.
So then we just walk through the house seeing projects everywhere, and I'm like, nope. I'm just gonna stay in my room, so I don't have to see any of this, and I'm gonna just try not to think about it, which is not the healthiest way. BT dubs.
Oh, mental health and creativity and the amount of projects started versus amount of projects finished is ridiculous.
So, yes, his forte is finishing a project, mine is starting one.
Oh, perfect.
Because he doesn't want to start it. He, like, doesn't have the energy and the motivation to get it going. And I get so overwhelmed in the middle, I'm like, fuck it, we're done. And he's like, no. Let's take a little break. We'll come back. You know, like, fine, I guess.
Like,
you know?
Yeah.
Like, those primitive responses for just, like, sure.
Like, yeah. Like, I get energy and I have a stupid amount of, creative ideas. I get them in the moment. I write them down. Then that never happens because, yeah, I do one and then my energy with my mental health just goes, yeah, no, we're not doing anything else now. You've done good. And then just
I have to keep pen and paper close by because when I write, like poetry, I don't write a couple lines and I'll come back to it. I get obsessed about one line that I really like that I think I can utilize, and I write the whole piece.
Damn.
I can't put it on paper and walk away. And all of my poetry is written like that. Because I just get so obsessive over it, and I won't be able to focus on anything else.
See, I'm not that good. Like, I will have a little phrase or something that I'll write down. I'll be like, right, I'll come back to that. And then I forget sort of the rhyme, the flow. If I'm lucky, I'll have a verse. And then I forget all about it. And it's like, goddamn.
Like, it is... I don't know if it's because I always used creative writing as a kid, like as an outlet, but like and that's another like kind of segue into an issue that we have is that when we are ready to do something and be active and accomplish, I can't tell you how much it causes me physical pain to stand still.
Sometimes
it'll be like,
you've got to just move.
I'll pop my head in to his video gaming room and be like, hey, just checking in. This is what I plan on doing. The kids are doing this, or what do you have the kids doing, or whatever. He's like, oh yeah, and then wants to like have a conversation, and I'm like,
I've done that.
I can physically feel my heart beating.
It's like,
and my muscles trembling.
It's like I've got this. I didn't need to do it.
It's not because I don't care what you have to say. I love you very much. I need to move. I can't. I can't. And so, like, if we get into an argument or anything, I can't stand there and do nothing. He, like, it's a big trigger for him when people walk away from him during an argument.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am so uncomfortable. I will say it. I am so uncomfortable right now.
Lol.
But learning, like, what our partners need and how to ask our partners for what we need is vital in having a healthy mental health journey and being able to take steps forward and everything like that. And that's not just, definitely. I mean, just definitely not just romantically, with all of our relationships. And it's important and it's okay to set boundaries. Anybody who needs to hear that. It's not only important, but it's also okay to do it.
It is.
So we've touched on a lot of really important things as far as having our mental health incorporated with our relationships and the importance of telling people how we need to feel seen and heard and hearing how they need to feel seen and heard. And this is something that is super important as we are traveling through life in all of our different relationships. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. This is Brains Are Rude. I'm Loot, and this is
Ninja.
And we'll be back again in a couple weeks.
See you guys.